Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes Happy Hour Sports Talk. I, of course, am the brofict one, AJ. Happy Friday, September 26, 2025. Hope you guys are ready for a great weekend, had a great week, and ready for all of the great stuff going on. I mean, I know the sports equinox is right around the corner, but this is a nice, little appetizer, I could say, for the sports equinox with not only college and NFL with incredible slates on both sides, but also the Ryder Cup going on currently. Europe is ahead of the U.S. right now, 5-2. So the boys do need to go ahead and really get it together for Saturday and Sunday's rounds. But I do have faith. We'll get more into all of that in a moment. Before I go any further, though, do just want to take a moment. Shout out to everyone watching here on Rumble, over on YouTube, X, TikTok. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But let's go ahead and get into it. A couple of things I want to talk about before we get into my college slate and then the full NFL slate. I will be picking every game ATS, and we will get that going in a bit. But some things I do want to talk about first. I want to go ahead and start in the MLB with big news coming out of the MLB. Not only is the season winding down and we are getting into, the wild card races and final 3 days of the season coming up, 4 days of the season coming up now with playoffs starting next week. It's about to get lit. It's about to get lit. But this is the time that the MLB starts to make a lot of announcements regarding next season. And this one isn't surprising. I mean, it's a little surprising in the sense that maybe I thought it was going to take a little bit longer, but the MLB has officially announced that starting in the 2026 season, the automatic ball strike challenge system, ABS, will be used. And the rules will be as followed. Each team will get 2 challenges and can keep them if they are successful. Challenges can only be initiated by a pitcher, catcher, or batter, and the request must come right after the pitch. To signal a challenge, the pitcher, catcher, or batter will tap his hat or helmet to let the umpire know. No help from the dugout or other players on the field is allowed. In each extra inning, a team will be awarded a challenge if it has none remaining entering the inning. ABS challenge system powered by T-Mobile 5G network uses cameras set up around the perimeter, yada, yada, yada. This is something that we can't be too surprised about, in my opinion. We really can't get too surprised. We can't get too upset about it. The MLB has been looking to go into some type of a strike zone challenge system at some point. And I think they were testing the water when it came to the initial replay challenges and kind of testing the water to see what baseball fans thought of that. And overall, I would say the impression that I've been getting from baseball fans is that they're a fan of it. They like what they're seeing. They like the replays. They like the reviews. And I do think it is a very helpful system in the MLB. It doesn't fully take out the human error that the umpires provide and that what baseball is, to keep it still true to baseball. But in some of those crucial moments, it does allow for technology to take over and for baseball to be a part of the 21st century in secure, and and securing everything. And especially with the summertime, the dog days, baseball is the only thing that people gamble on, and so you don't want them to get all pissy all the time. And so I like that baseball. I don't love that baseball is doing it. I understand it and I like it enough. It's been used in the AAA and it's been used in the minors, and just nothing but good stuff. I like the limits on it, 2 per team. Only the catcher, batter, and pitcher are allowed to allowed to initiate it, and it has to be right after. There's no titter-tatter like, what was that, a ball? Was that a strike? And does create maybe a little extra drama when we go to the system. I know that we saw it in the All-Star game, and essentially every ABS that they used in the All-Star game was overturning a pitch or confirming a pitch. And so, well, duh, obviously, but it wasn't used all the time. It wasn't used willy-nilly. And so I do think that this is overall a net neutral for the MLB. I don't think it really hurts. I don't really think it helps. I think it's something that people will get upset about when it doesn't go their way. And I mean, that's very typical of any sports fans or anything like that. But that's the big thing coming out of baseball. And, a lot of fans probably this season going into whatchamacallit, going into playoffs are going to be wishing that they had it in some of those ninth innings and late games. But no, playoffs is around the corner. Shout out to my D-backs not being completely out of it. 1.5 games back, and we play the Padres. Padres have already clinched, so hopefully they're nice to us. And hopefully the Reds and the Mets start losing some games. Next week, Noah and I will be doing a deeper dive into the playoffs for the MLB on Tuesday night probably. We'll be doing a deep dive into that. So you're not going to want to miss that. Playoff baseball is the best. We got hockey right around the corner. We got basketball right around the corner. Now's a good time to like and follow this channel. Just saying. But yeah, that's the big news coming out of the MLB right now. Shout out to Cal Riley as well, hitting 60. Might be breaking Aaron Judge's record at 63. I mean, couple games left. Let Big Dumper keep dumping away. I absolutely love what Cal Riley's been doing. Some other news around the sports world. It's sad it's come to this, but Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt, most famously Loyola Chicago's chaplain, 106 years old, and she will be stepping down officially. Unfortunately, unable to be physically present on campus. So thoughts and prayers with her. Hope everything is going well. 106 years old is incredible, and hopefully Loyola can put together one more fun run for Sister Jean. But shout out to Sister Jean. All the great memories from college football. I was going to save this, but it's here, so let's talk about it. Okay, sources confirm Oklahoma State would likely be interested in hiring Nick Saban as their next head coach. Yeah, and I'd be interested in knowing what the lottery ball numbers are going to be this weekend. I mean, for real, man. I mean, I truly think this is going to be something that continues to come out about Nick Saban, not just in the next couple of years, but literally until, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. And I think that speaks to how great of a coach he is and how great of a coach he was, and the fact that any college would still gladly nut up whatever it would cost and pay Saban to get him even in the locker room. And again, something that we will be a question that we will be having to talk about for years and years to come. But never say never. You know what I mean? Maybe Nick Saban saw what NIL was doing and wanted to maybe grasp of what it was going to be and didn't want to be a part of the Wild West and is waiting to make a return. Maybe he's waiting for a job to open up in the NFL if he wants to go and pursue a Super Bowl again. Who knows? Who knows? Those circles are really closed. Maybe he knows someone might be on the way out and he's waiting for that job to open up. Who knows? All I'm saying. We'll get to that in a bit. This was interesting. Jackson starting this Sunday's game with the benching of Russell Wilson, which honestly, it was going to happen. Russell Wilson was going to get benched. I think we all accept that and understood that going into this season. It was just a matter of when. And I do think it's a little premature. I'm not going to lie. I do think it's a little premature to have Jackson Dart starting so early. Has Russell Wilson been playing well? No, not at all. That's why you had Jameis Winston too. That's why you have Jameis Winston. And now that Jackson Dart's going out there and Russell Wilson's backing him up, I don't know why teams aren't calling the Giants that need a quarterback and are like, hey, what's Jameis doing? What, you want a 5th round? You want a 4th round next season? We'll go ahead and give that to you. We'll do that all day long. I don't know, man. I was assuming it was going to happen a little bit later in the season, maybe after the bye week, but because they got a brutal schedule coming up. We'll get to that in a moment. But Malik Neighbors from a 6th quarterback. Unreal. This coming from the NBA. Lakers have decided to go ahead and give JJ Redick contract extension. Signed a 4-year, $32 million deal last summer and went 50-32 in his first season. So he gets another nice extension, another nice chunk of change coming from the Lakers. And I mean, sure, why not? You got Luka there. Luka likes him, and he's clearly, the new face of your team and who you want to be the next franchise guy of the Lakers. And so LeBron's on his way out. Yeah, if Luka and him can get along and can get stuff done, I think it's a great move for the Lakers. And They're winning right now. They're winning. You got to love it. You got to love it. Going over to the ice, as I mentioned, we do have hockey regular season starting just around the corner. This coming out earlier today, Florida Panthers captain Alexander Barkov, is undergoing knee surgery after being injured on the first full day of training camp practice Thursday. Panthers coach Paul Maurice told reporters on Friday. So that's a bummer. Obviously, it's a bummer. He's an absolute dog and is key in this Florida Panthers lineup. So hopefully that he can get back in there sooner rather than later. But from another point of view, after having a couple of very long seasons, I mean, I'm not upset that I know he's going to be rehabbing and working really hard, but staying off the ice a little bit and making sure his body is fully ready to go for a back half push. I mean, shout out to him. Obviously, we'll see what that timeline looks like coming back, but yeah, and we'll talk about everything else as we go along because wasn't able to do it earlier this week, so we do have our college and NFL. And as I'm going through NFL, I will go ahead and be answering any questions regarding fantasy football. So wait until we get to the NFL, and then we will start getting going on that. Just a couple of games I want to touch on in the college one. They're my favorite games, and I think the most interesting games going into this week, and those are the ones that we are going to be chit-chatting about. So let me make sure I got everything set up properly. There we go. First one on the slate we do want to go ahead and talk about is Friday night football tonight. TCU, Arizona State 2.5 point favorites. 54.5 is the total. Arizona State 3-1 going into this season. Going into this game. TCU, them Horned Frogs, them Psycho Frogs, Hypno Frogs, Hypno Toads, whatever they are. 3-0, and they've looked real good. That's why they got a funny little number next to their name right now. TCU looks damn good right now. And don't get me wrong, Arizona State is, they're not playing nearly as bad, I think, as I was expecting. They're still winning football games. They're just not winning convincing football games. They lack a spark on that offense that unfortunately was taken away from them in the NFL draft. Sam Leavitt hasn't really improved much over last year, which is leaving that offense out to dry a little bit. And I think TCU is a full package right now. I really do. I was unable to make a shirt this week, but I like it so much I would put it on a shirt. TCU is my dog of the week. Love TCU money line this week and think they're going to just absolutely not put them in their place per se, but they're going to give the Sun Devils something to remember. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Next game I want to break down, USC, Illinois, 21-23. Illini's going into this one. They are 6.5 point dogs at home. 60.5 is the total. And I mean, both have had interesting seasons so far. That Indiana game, I think, was eye-opening for a lot of people in the college football world with how we've been talking about this Illinois team. I don't hold a lot against Illinois, though. I don't, because Indiana, I think, was underrated going into that game and this season in general, and they just wanted to see it out of Sig and the boys. But I like what Bielema is doing. And USC, I get it. They look really good, but, I mean, they've played cupcakes, no disrespect to Purdue and little brother in Michigan State. Michigan State put up a hell of a fight, but I'm not expecting a lot out of Michigan State this season. So I'm on the Illini plus the 6.5. If I can get it at plus money, I'm loving that even more. Going to be sprinkling that money line too. Wouldn't be surprised if this is one where gets away from USC and we kind of see the true colors of this football squad. Ohio State, Washington. It's not on my card officially, but I am going to be taking Ohio State minus that 9.5. I understand people being excited about Washington, and I understand wanting Washington to do good, playing at home. Ohio State coming out a little flat, but that's what Ohio State's been doing the last couple of years, and so I'm not overly concerned about it. I'll take Ohio State minus that 9.5 going into Washington. LSU, Ole Miss, 1.5 point favorites. 57.5 is the total. Hey, did you hear about that head coach's daughter who's dating some linebacker? Because that's all that's been on my timeline when this game has popped up. That and Dr. Shin for Oklahoma. Shout out to Dr. Shin. He may never buy a meal in Oklahoma ever again. But LSU, Ole Miss, Listen, I think both of these teams are frauds if we're going to be completely honest. Like, I don't trust either of these teams. I don't like either of these teams. I think they're propped up being an SEC team and being, there. But I am going to take Ole Miss. I'm going to take them on the money line. I'll take the little, I'll take the, what am I trying? I'll take the tax. What the fuck? The juice. Thank you. My God. I'll take the juice on that just so I don't have to deal with any points. But I think Ole Miss does win this game at home and defends it. And again, I don't think it means LSU is bad. I don't think it means Ole Miss is better. I think it means that both teams are mid SEC teams. That's where I'm at with them. Oh, speaking of mid, Auburn, Texas A&M. A&M 7.5-point favorites at home on this one. 52.5 is the total. I'm rolling with A&M in here. I love the way A&M's playing football. Auburn just doesn't seem like they have the juice. Just doesn't seem like they have the juice this year. And again, I hate the SEC. I hate it, but those are the games that are on national TV. So, no, give me Texas A&M here. I think they covered that touchdown. I think they win it by a touchdown and a field goal in that one. Arizona, Iowa State. Watch out for Tennessee, Mississippi State. I'm not picking this one, but I don't know why. Victor, thank you for the gift, brother. What's good? Thornton or Shakir? I'll take Shakir for you, brother. The Bills are about to have a fucking day, let me tell you. But I would watch out for Mississippi State. That 7.5 is there for a reason. I think they can keep this one close against an overrated Tennessee team. But Arizona, Iowa State. Arizona coming in 3-0. Iowa State 4-0 with a funny number next to their name. Iowa State 4.5-point favorites at home. 48.5 is the total. Dealing with two pretty good offenses here, two defenses that can get up. Arizona, I would say, surprising a lot of people, especially myself. 3-0, but again, we haven't really played anybody. 4.5, I think this is in a good spot. I am going to take Arizona plus that 3.5. I liked it at 6.5 earlier this week, I'm not going to lie, but I would take Arizona plus the 4.5 and hope that they lose by a field goal. I think this Arizona offense is good enough to get in there and get that done, so we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Oregon, Penn State. We'll start there. Whiteout in Penn State, 3.5-point favorites are the Nittany Lions. 53.5 is the total on this one. Franklin's record going up against ranked teams is not good. Just straight up not good. Nothing you want to write home about. Nothing you really want to talk about if you are talking about it. And I don't see it getting better. Oregon, year after year, seems to continue to be disrespected by the playoff committee. I get it. They're up in Oregon. No one cares about the Northwest. I get it, bro. But this is a team that Dan Lanning has continued to show year over year, that no matter who leaves, no matter who comes, he can have those boys up and ready to go. And I think that's what we're going to see in Penn State, regardless of the whiteout. Give me them Ducks. Give me them Ducks plus that 3.5 on the money line. I think the Ducks take this one. Do like the over in this one, though. I do like the over. I will say that. And then last game I really want to talk about, Alabama, Georgia. Georgia, 2.5-point favorites. 54.5 is the total on here. I get why it's a close spread. I get it. Neither of them are really the Alabama and Georgia of years past that we the dominance that we're used to, and we're seeing them pretty early this season. And at the end of the day, I really think Kalen DeBoer does not have this Alabama team going in the right direction. The practice videos we've seen, the film we've seen with this team, they're 2-1 and they're 2-1 for a reason. And I think it's about to get a lot worse for Alabama before it gets a lot better. Give me Kirby Smart putting belt to ass in this game. Give me Georgia minus that. I'll take the 2.5 all day long. I would take it up to 3.5, 4.5. Might do an alternate line at 6.5. I think they can win this one full out by a tutty. That's where I'm at with it. That is where I'm at. But let's go ahead. Let's get to the NFL. Because, do we have some games. I want to talk about Thursday Night Football first. Just a disappointing performance from the Arizona Cardinals. I know they turned it on at the end there, and we needed a couple things to go our way. This team looks sloppy. I'm glad Marvin Harrison Jr. caught a touchdown and caught some big passes, but I need to see a lot more out of this. How we cannot be going through this season and having him just hold back and everything like that. I'm not a fan of what's happening with our offense. Our defense, on the other hand, props to our defense. Our top three corners are injured. Everyone else is stepping up and doing their job. Hopefully Calais Campbell's injury is not that serious. We should find out more later. I personally haven't heard anything about it, but Sam Darnold might be legit. Kevin O'Connell seriously might have fixed him. And again, I know Sam Darnold is, except for the last 2 years, hasn't really not been put in a good position as a quarterback, but he really stepped up this time. And 18 for 26, 242 yards and a touchdown. That is a hell of a stat line for a guy that was seeing ghosts just a couple of years ago. For sure. So shout out to them. Let's go ahead and get into NFL and my picks. Vikings fans, welcome to happy Jordan Addison is not suspended anymore week, as the Vikings and the Steelers over in Dublin, Ireland. Vikings 2.5-point favorites here. 40.5 is the total. One thing we talk about a lot when we talk about international games is travel. And, seeing the videos and from the travel today, Steelers flying coach, the Vikings flying business class, first class. Stuff like that. Stuff like that's rough. So I'd be looking at the Vikings in this one, not to mention the fact Carson Wentz is going to be under center yet again. And Kevin O'Connell has got him moving in the right direction. Love what he's doing, Jax. I'll get to that in a moment. Not only that, but I need to see it again from Pittsburgh's defense. I don't know if this defense is actually legit. Aaron Rodgers does seem to be playing better than he has in the past couple of years, but I need to see a lot more out of that Steelers defense. Again, funny stuff always happens overseas, but go ahead and give me the Vikings minus that 2.5 to get the week started. Jack Snow wants to know in the chat, Bijan, Sutton, and Andrews for Amon-Ra, Genty, and Ferguson. Should I do it? Are you receiving Amon-Ra, Genty, and Ferguson? Because if you're doing that, it's worth it for Amon-Ra and Ferguson. I don't really trust what the Raiders have been doing with Ashton Genty, but we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that one. But yeah, on the Vikings, minus that 2.5. Probably leaning towards the under here. I know Kevin O'Connell likes to get going, but international game, international travel could be rough. And then the regular slate gets started. Commanders, Falcons. Falcons, 1.5-point favorite on this one. 43.5 is the total. Was announced that Scary Terry and Jaden Daniels will not be playing this week. Falcons have looked absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious this season, and I don't know if it's a simple fix right now. I don't know if Michael Penix is all that we thought he was cracked up to be. I loved what I saw out of Marcus Mariota last week. He's got that dog in him. I like it. Give me Commanders on the money line here. I think they win this game outright and can absolutely get going. Going over to the TikTok chat, what do you got here? We got bruh man, Green Bay D or Chargers D this week. Listen, what game there? Chargers Giants. Listen, I got the Chargers in this one. I know it's Jackson Dart's coming out party, which, cool. Congrats to him. He gets to play in the NFL, but he has to go against a Jim Harbaugh defense and a defense that has been playing great. And I do think we will see some mistakes out of this rookie, especially with how the offense has been called so far this season. I would probably, though, be leaning on that Green Bay defense. Besides CD, what else has Dak really gotten? CD's out this week too, right? Isn't CD out? Yep, CD Lamb's going to be out this week. I'd probably roll with the Packers defense. I think they're going to have a lot of chance to eat. They're probably going to be playing. Cowboys probably going to be playing from behind. Dak going to need to throw that ball around and keep it going. Cam in the chat. Do I play Goff or Purdy this week? Ooh. By the way, I'm obviously on the Packers minus all the points, 6.5, and everything else in between. Play Goff or Purdy this week. Jaguars, 49ers. 49ers, 3.5 point favorites now with Purdy being back in that news. Man, it's a tough one. It is a tough one, but I really like the way Jacksonville's been playing. I think that 49ers defense is better than anticipated, but the Jaguars are just more healthy right now. I'm going to be taking the Jaguars plus that 2.5. With that also being said, though, Lions, Browns, Lions are 10.5 point favorites against a really solid Browns defense. And yeah, they're going to open it up, and I think that offense is going to, that Browns offense is going to put themselves in trouble because Joe Flacco is going to try to do too much. I'm on the I'm honestly, where is this game? Where are my notes on it? Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, that's right. That's what I said. I'm going to be taking the Browns plus the points here. You can go ahead and lay those down for me. And I'd probably start Purdy this week. Goff will get you points. I'm worried about turnovers if he starts going hard because Myles Garrett's going to be in his face, and that secondary ain't too bad. So I'm probably leaning Purdy and hoping that this Jaguars success is just, smoke and mirrors and isn't real. But that's a tough decision there. That is a very tough decision. Jay, would I trade away Pickens and Chase Brown for Pearsall and Mason? Yeah, I would. If that's the offer on the table right now, yeah, I would be rocking that. Tucker Kraft or Jake Ferguson this week? Tucker Kraft. Listen. I want everyone to make sure they hear this, okay? And Cowboys fans, you might want to put on some earmuffs for this one because it's about to get a little real. It's not that Micah Parsons leaving was the entire defense leaving. It was the one piece that had to be accounted for on defense when you're talking from an offensive line perspective, quarterback perspective, etc. It was Micah Parsons. He's the one guy that you wanted to make sure was everywhere on that field. They take away Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys just don't have anyone to be next man up. And I'll admit that the Cowboys defense has looked a little bit better than expected, but I think it's a lot worse than people are ready to talk about. And now CeeDee Lamb's going to be out, so you're taking away, Dak's true security blanket and only real help there on the offense. I would be going with Tucker Kraft, and Jordan Love's been loving Tucker Kraft this season. I mean, absolutely loving Tucker Kraft, and I think it's going to keep it going. Ooh, Shakir or Trey? Who? Trey Tucker? At the flex. Ooh, I like Shakir. The issue with the Bills, though, is always, Josh Allen has so many options, and he's so good at spreading that wealth. And I think that's a really high spread. It's 15.5. I know the Saints suck. And I do think that the Saints are as bad as that last game suggests. I think that was the true Saints team that we saw last week, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more. With that being said, Trey Tucker, let me get to that Raiders game real quick. The Raiders going up against the Bears. And, I'm not someone sitting here who's going to be talking about how great this Bears team is or the fact that I think everything has been solved now, yada, yada, yada. You're not going to get that from me. And I need to see it a lot more from the Bears than just one game on this one. I am on the Raiders money line on this one. Whether Trey Tucker is a big part of that or whether they actually start using Ashton Genty, it's something that I want to see. I think Trey Tucker is a good option, but I'd probably go with Shakir. I think there's going to be a lot of spreading of the wealth going on with them Bills. Trade Javonte Williams and Egbuka for Josh Jacobs and Quentin Johnson, struggling with the running backs. Yeah, if you're struggling that bad with running backs, I like Josh Jacobs' upside a lot this year. And I mean, he's playing behind what is typically a very good Packers offensive line. So yeah, I would be rolling with that. What else are we looking at here? Trade Javonte and St. Brown for Puka Nacua. I mean, you can. I don't think it's the worst trade in the world. I think Puka's upside is undoubtable. I think the Rams are as advertised this year, and that is a very solid football team. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is going to be a hell of a matchup here with the Colts. And, I think Puka Nacua is going to take a big step forward. I don't hate that trade. Zay Flowers or Trey Tucker for the flex. Dude, I've been loving Zay Flowers this year. I really have been. And I mean, Ravens going up against the Chiefs. Ravens 2.5-point favorites here. The official that has been assigned to this game, the head official, essentially loves the home team, and the Chiefs have a really good record when he's calling games. So that is something to keep in mind. I think you are, more what you're going to get out of Zay Flowers than Trey Tucker. That's where I'm at with that. Would I trade away Justin Jefferson for CMC? Nah, don't get me wrong. CMC is getting a lot of touches right now, and he's getting a lot of work, and that's good in the short term. I'm thinking long term here, though, because, we all know CMC ain't running around with, a great leg, and a great Achilles or anything like that. So that is something that always is in the back of my head whenever it comes to CMC. That's why I don't really start him or draft him in any of my leagues. But I think Jefferson, especially if Carson Wentz stays in there, I'd go with Jefferson. But what else we got? Trade Javonte Williams and Igbuka for Josh Jacobs. I already told you, Aaron. Go with Josh Jacobs and Quentin Johnston. I like it. Game no one's really talking about that. I think is going to be a hell of a lot better of a game than people are expecting. Titans-Texans. Texans coming into this one 7.5-point favorites. 39.5 is the total. Listen, Cam Ward is legit. Cam Ward is a very legit quarterback, and I think he obviously was the most ready to come out of college and be an NFL quarterback, and has shown that throughout this season so far, and is going to continue to show that. I think the Texans are in trouble. I think that offensive line is a lot worse than people are wanting to talk about. I think C.J. Stroud is regressing a little bit because of that offensive line, and shit. Give me the Titans plus 7.5. Thank you very much. Trade Igbuka and Kincaid for Sutton and Kraft. No. Dan, I wouldn't do that. That trade ain't worth it, brother. It is just not. Jamo Thornton or A.M. Manor. I've been loving what A.M. Manor's been doing. I would roll the dice and go with him. I like it. Eagles Bucks. I listen. That Eagles game got close. And I think the Eagles are going to be playing a lot of close games this year. And what's a team that loves to win close games? But, Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Give me the Buccaneers on the money line in this one. I think they hand the Eagles their first loss of the year. And the Buccaneers really cement themselves as, an actual threat, which they are. So, rolling with that. Jones, Fields, or Knicks this weekend? Ooh, that's a great question. So, Bose, Knicks, or Fields? Jones, Knicks, or Fields? You got an interesting quarterback room. That's for sure. I mean, listen, Daniel Jones has been unbelievable. This offense has only punted one time in the last 3 games. That is unheard of. I mean, that's incredible efficiency on the offensive side of the football. Daniel Jones at 816 yards. He's going to throw for freaking 1,000 yards in the first 4 games. I mean, listen, Jones is absolutely killing it. What worries me is how good this Rams defense is. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game and is going to be one that we might see Daniel Jones making a couple of those mistakes we're used to seeing him make. And that's fine. I mean, he hasn't made those mistakes this year so far. And so he has one game against a very solid Rams team. I'm not going to be upset. So that is what worries me about Daniel Jones, though, is how good that Rams defense is. Let me tell you something, brother. Who else? Fields? No, we're not starting Fields. Listen, maybe we are. Miami's that bad. This Jets team, I mean, this is, listen, Monday night is a great night for teams to exercise demons. And I think the Dolphins and the Broncos are in a great place to do that. And so I don't know if I would want to be Justin Fields on that. I think it's going to be a closer game, and I think Justin Fields may have to throw the ball more than we're comfortable with him throwing the football, so that is what worries me. Do you want to start Bo picks, really? I think I'd roll the dice with Daniel Jones on this one. Because, I mean, listen, this Bengals offense is absolutely adherent. They're awful. They're awful. I'm probably rolling with Jones. I think you're going to get at least 17 points out of him, maybe 20. I'd roll with Jones. Jacobs or Bucky? Ooh, I'd go with Bucky. You know, especially with all the injuries on the offense for the Buccaneers, I think they're going to be getting he's going to be getting a lot of looks. And I hate to say it, I know I'm not the first person to say it, but I'll keep saying it. This Eagles D-line looks a little bit slower than it did last year. And that secondary, you know, after winning a Super Bowl seems a little bit more decimated than maybe we were expecting. And so I'd be going with Bucky. Ibuka all day over Adunze. I think that Caleb Williams is going to be having an issue with Max Crosby in his face all night. All right, the only reason wants me to rate this trade. Let's see what we got here. You give Jamar, Shaheed, and Kincaid for Dylan Sampson, T. Higgins, Ferguson, Dowdle, Chuba. I mean, bro, if you're that injured and need that many players... Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. You're giving Dylan Sampson, too. For T. Higgins, Ferguson, Dowdle, Chuba. I mean, like, overall value, like, yeah, it's probably like a B or a C. I mean, if you're that desperate for players and you're that injured. But, I mean, you're trading Jamar for T. I think that's, you know, 2 half dozen in the other or whatever. Rashid Shaheed hasn't really done much for me this season. I get wanting Dowdle and Chuba in the backfield, but I don't know, man. B+, B-, somewhere in the B's. We'll just go with a straight up B if I can't pick. B. Oh, and you get Debo? I'll give you the B+. I'll give you the B+. I still think you're giving up a lot. What else we got? I'll do this for a little bit longer. Pickens or Zay? I mean, George Pickens is going to be getting all the looks. Is that good or bad? That's TBD. You know, he performed fine with the Steelers when he was getting a lot, but it was, you know, his emotions getting the best of it, and he's going to be double covered now. So I'll probably go Zay. Tony G was good. Just traded Lamar Jackson and Horton for Hurts, K. Williams, and Brian Robinson. That is a trade in fantasy football, that's for sure. That's a trade. What do I think? To be honest, I mean, I would have held on to Lamar Jackson. I like the Kyren Williams pickup. Brian Robinson, fine. I know a lot of people are hype on him. I personally am not as hype on him as probably I should be. And Hurts, I mean, hey, the tush push is still alive. Tush push is still alive and well, so I'll never hate on Jalen Hurts. But I personally would have kept Lamar. If you could have not swapped quarterbacks and still gotten Williams and Robinson, I think you would have been a little bit better. But I like it in general, brother. I've seen a lot worse, if that makes you feel any better. All right, have a trade giving Neighbors, ETN, Swift, Diggs for Drake, Sutton, Nix, and Cam Scat. Ooh, I like it, bro. That's a nice trade. That you fleeced him, brother. Only if CMC goes down. Fair enough, Tony. But no, I'm loving Cam Scatteroo. And honestly, he's my favorite thing about the Giants. And yeah, you're going up against the Chargers defense, but Cam Scatteroo likes to lead with his head first and ask questions later. And I think that is absolutely awesome. Start BTJ or Tet. Ooh. Listen, Panthers have one good game, one big game. I'm not going to overrule it. Going into a Patriots team, 5.5 is the spread here. I'm on the Patriots, but I don't hate T-Mac having a big night. So I'd probably roll with T-Mac. Dylan in the chat, Geno Smith a good start because he plays the Bears. Ooh. I like where your head's at. I do. And I mean, Geno Smith, they've been letting him just rip it downfield. And I absolutely love that for Geno Smith. And I think that's going to be tiresome on that Bears defense. I'm not expecting that we're going to see the Bears doing the same stuff that they did last week. Elijah, thank you for the follow, brother. But yeah, I'm not there. I'm not there with the Bears. I'm not. Shoot, Dylan with the follow too. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. But yeah, I like Gino this week. Short answer. I like Gino this week. I like Gino. Ooh, Gino or Mariota though. I'd probably start Marcus Mariota if we're going to be honest. I have little to no faith in this Falcons team. Like, I was not expecting big things out of the Falcons this year, but I was expecting a little bit more than what we're getting out of them this year. And I think Penix has got a lot more to learn than people expect. You don't just throw what's his name? Kirk Cousins back in on a whim. You pull him out because the guy's sucking and you don't want him to get hurt. Camden, thank you for the follow, brother. I'm not a fan of this Falcons team. A lot of the issues that they've had for the last couple of years have not been quarterback based, and they're still having those issues with big contracts and everything. And that defense is terrible. Marcus Mariota is going to run all over these fools, throw all over these fools, even without Terry McLaurin. Debo's going to have a big game too. I'd start Mariota over. All right, Camden, what do you got? Trade CD for Drake London and Trey Benson. Thin at running back. If you're thin at running back, I like the Trey Benson pickup especially. That's Arizona's only option right now, and I think they're going to continue to roll with him heavy. And CeeDee Lamb, he's going to be out for the next 4 weeks, and if there's no complications or anything. But, Cowboys are 0 for whatever they're at. Do we see him? But yeah, I like that trade a lot, bro. All right, what do we got? Hunter, anytime, man. Start 2 at wide receiver and flex BTJ, Pearsall, ETN, Javonte. I would go with Pearsall. I think he's going to get a lot of looks with Purdy this week. BTJ always scares me, and ETN is scaring me too. So I'd probably go with Javonte. Start Baker or Daniel Jones? Oh, I'd start Baker. I really think Baker is going to pick apart that Eagles secondary. I really do. And I think Bucky Irving's going to have a night too. I'm really high, obviously, on this Buccaneers team, so I'd roll with the Bucs. Kyron for JK and ETN? No. Mark, no. Don't do that. Would I would trade BJT or Sutton for Genty? Probably BTJ, whoever it is. What do I think? Addison? Start Addison. Yeah, they're overseas, but I think Kevin O'Connell's going to want to get him some work. I think he's going to have some plays drawn up for him, get him back into the swing of things early here, so I wouldn't be surprised with Addison having a big one over in Dublin. I would go Jacoby Myers over Pickens. Yeah, Pickens is going to get a lot of looks from Dak, not in the best way, but I'd be rolling that way. Jesus, thank you for the follow. T. Higgins trade for Jake Ferguson, getting Ferg. Yeah, I like that. I think and Garrett Will. Yeah, and boxes Garrett Wilson for Jamar. I'd probably hold off on that. I don't think that the Bengals are going to be good. I don't. I know Jake Browning had one really good game, but that was just to close out when, Burrow got injured. But a lot of times, they come in for that game, the adrenaline's pumping, they're just playing free and playing loose, and then they actually start preparing for the week and they get in their head and everything, and that's at least what I'm worried about. What else we've got? Do I start Juwan Jennings at flex if he plays? Yeah, if that's your only option, I would start him if he so you don't have an empty spot, but I don't hate that. Holmes or Baker? Believe me, I don't have any faith in this Ravens defense either. They got blown up by Jared Goff, but we haven't seen the Chiefs do it yet. Chiefs love to win, hate to cover. I think they do both in this game. With that being said, I'd start Baker, I think. I would start Baker. I'm not as worried about Baker with that Eagles defense as others might be. I'm just not. Hawkinson or Kraft PPR? Bro, I'd probably be rolling with Kraft. I think Kraft's about to go medieval on this Cowboys team, like serious belt to ass action. Montgomery or Sutton at the flex. Give me Montgomery. No. I really don't like Bo Nix at all. I'll give you a Sutton. I think Bo Nix has a better game this week because of how bad that Bengals defense is, but still. Pick 2, Chuba, Scat, and Judkins. I'd probably start Judkins and Scat. I like Chuba Hubbard a lot, but I like what Scatterbo and Judkins have been doing, and I think Judkins has a really nice matchup this week going up against the Lions defensively. And Scatterbo is just awesome. Genty, Golden, Addison, or Godwin? Oh, give me Godwin on his return game. Oh, he's going to get a lot of use. I wouldn't hate Addison either, or Matthew Golden. I wouldn't start Genty, though. Malik Neighbors going to play. I haven't heard anything that he's going to be out. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, per Schefter 4 hours ago, Malik Neighbors off injury report, good to go for Sunday against the Chargers. Giants do rule out kicker Graham Gano, though. And they signed Young Hoku. That's right. He'll be kicking for the Giants on Sunday. With that being said, I don't know, man. How high are you on Jackson Dart? Against the Chargers defense, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a very messy game for Dart. And so I might look at not playing Neighbors this week. But he's going to get a lot of looks. So, again, how do you feel about that? Egbuka or Sutton? Give me Egbuka, bro. Give me Egbuka all day long. Because the Eagles are going to have to figure out, who do we want to cover? Do we want to cover Godwin? Do we want to cover Egbuka? Oh, by the way, Bucky comes out of the backfield and likes to catch footballs. So I think that's going to be something. Gotti, 6. Thank you for the follow, brother. What else are we looking at? Javonte Williams, Chuba Hubbard, or Chase Brown? Probably Javonte and Chuba. Chase Brown's been dog shit, but what are we going to do? Steph R., thank you for the follow. McConkey, Chase Brown, ETN. Give me McConkey all day long. That Giants defense is a little bit better, but McConkey going to have a day. Ooh, Egbuka or Jefferson? I mean, I don't know, man. I like what Egbuka's been doing. I still think he's going to be the second option, and the Eagles are going to be shading over towards Chris Godwin a little bit more. But, yeah, I don't hate Jefferson. Go 3-2. Start Jordan Addison. I wouldn't worry about Neighbors this week. J-Mo or Thornton? I'd probably go Thornton. No, J-Mo. I think the Lions are going to need to run the ball a lot. Herbert or Bo Nix? Give me Herbert all day long. All day long. Is that even a question, bro? Gideon, my man. I'm telling you, Herbert's him. Why are we messing around with Bo Nix? Bo Picks. Is Tet playing? I believe so. Let me look up T-Mac real quick. And again, it's T-Mac. Why are we calling him Tet? It's T-Mac. Calf injury. What are we doing? Questionable for week 4. He said he's expected to play earlier this week. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays. I think he probably will. So I'd be looking at that. Trade Pollard for BTJ. Jesse, do whatever your heart desires. You might as well. Pollard ain't going to do you shit. Astro just traded away Javonte, Hollywood, AJ, Kamara for Henry, Dobbins, Adams. Bro, you fleeced them. Got rid of Hollywood Brown, who's done nothing. Got rid of AJ Brown, who's gotten nothing. Got rid of Kamara, who's probably going to get traded away to a system that'll use him less. And Javonte for Derrick Henry, Dobbins, and Adams. Yeah, I think Derrick Henry's fumbling issues are going to not be as serious in the first and going forward. So that's where I'm at. Pickens or Golden? Give me Golden. I think Golden's going to run all over that Cowboys D. Yeah, Astro, I got you, man. I got you, Astro. Steph, trade Devontae Williams and Travis Hunter for Genti and Hunter Henry. Need a tight end. Yeah, if you need a tight end, then yeah, I would definitely go with Hunter Henry, and especially if anyone will take Travis Hunter off your hands. And I mean, listen, I'm not going to just label this guy a bust right now. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not that cold-hearted or anything. But is Bro doing what anyone thought he was going to be doing? No, he's not. He's not great when he plays wide receiver. He's not great when he plays corner. He's mediocre at both right now. I think he needs to stop and focus on one. I get he's got the cardio and the ability to do so. But how about we get good at one thing before we get bad at two things? Luke in the chat, I didn't forget about you, bud. Daniel Jones or Purdy? I mean, this is going to be one of Daniel Jones' hardest contests going in, and I don't think he's going to regress that much. With that being said, wouldn't be surprised with an interception or two with how good this Rams defense has been playing. Purdy, on the other hand, this Jaguars defense, not nearly as bad as people want to talk about. The Jaguars in general, I mean, they're 2-1 for a reason. They look a little bit better than they have over the last 2 years. That offense looks really tight. Their defense is rated really well. And I think the Jaguars are going to have themselves a game. I would probably go with Indiana Jones for this week. Getting in the chat, Pollard or Chase Brown? Golly. Neither. I'd probably start Chase Brown. I think the Bengals are going to be resigned to run the ball a lot against the Broncos. Chase Brown or Breece Hall? I'd probably go with Hall, to be honest. Dolphins defense sucks. And the funny thing about the Dolphins, and Diana Rossini came out with hey, there's some shit going on behind the scenes that will come out eventually. And so I'm interested to see what that one is. It feels like there's something behind the scenes going on there, but yeah, that Dolphins team is just such a joke. There's nothing nice to say about them. Nothing at all. Gideon, thank you for the follow, brother. Yeah, just nothing nice to say about the boys. I'm sorry. I wish I could say something nice. I really can't. I really can't say anything nice about the Dolphins. Except what? Mike McDaniel dresses nice. All right, just traded TJ Hawkinson for George Kittle. Good trade. Tyler Warren is my main tight end right now. Yeah, I don't hate that if George Kittle is just going to chill on your bench for that bye week, or, if Warren gets injured, I think Warren is a good start for going forward, though. Just got Gibbs for Kyron, Mason, and Myers. Is that good or bad? I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I like him a lot. I think Kyron Williams is undervalued. I'm not going to lie. And so if you could have held on to Kyron, I think that would have been better, but I don't hate getting rid of Mason and Myers there. Will Ladd break out soon? Luke, you and me hope, brother. I would love nothing more than Ladd to really break out. And I mean, listen, Justin Herbert's throwing the football a lot. And with him throwing the ball as much as he is, you would be thinking that he could get the ball to fucking Ladd a little bit more, huh? Just a little bit more, man. What else are we doing here? All right, a couple more of these, and then wife's making chili, so I got to go get ready for that. That's exciting. All right. Start who? Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison? I'd go Zay, man. I would go Zay. I mean, listen, I like Jordan Addison a lot. I like him a lot. I'd go Zay Flowers. All right, Chris, you want me to rate this? 12-man roster. Let's see what you got here, bud. Nix, Gibbs, Saquon, MHJ, PTJ, Bowers, Judkins, Bills D, Dart, Judy Wandale, Iana Moore, Likely, Brandon. Bo Nix is really bringing this down for me, bruh. Bo Nix and MHJ. I like everything else. I would give it a B-, C+. But Bo Nix is just bringing that whole thing down for me. And I mean, you're kind of in a bad spot because you only have Dart. And I don't know if you want to start Dart this week. But I'm also just very down on Bo Nix. Who do you like the rest of the season? Tet or Pearsall? It's a little homer, but I really love what T-Mac does. And I think he's going to continue to be Bryce Young's go-to guy. So I would look at that. I'm going to go Dobbins at the flex. I would start Anamora over Henderson. Yeah, listen, Dami. Marvin Harrison had a great second half of football. I'm a miserable fan. I'm miserable. The Arizona Cardinals make me miserable, and like I can't even really rip on Kyler right now, and I can only really rip on MHJ. I mean, that was a close game. I'm just defeated, bro. Oh, you were at the game? Yeah, that was a wild one, and I mean, I was definitely not very nice to the Arizona Cardinals on Twitter last night. But I don't apologize for it because, I mean, we continue to see the same stuff year after year after year, no matter who the head coach is. I mean, we've only had Kyler for the last, 6-7 years now? And, And yeah, the fans took over, man. I mean, everyone loves to rip on, the Chargers and the Rams for not having any home fans. Go to an Arizona sports game. I would say we're getting better with the D-backs, but that's because the D-backs do actually win some games every once in a while. But any other, especially football, yeah, you're going to get fans from out of town coming to enjoy the beautiful Arizona weather. T. Higgins or Calvin Ridley? I like who's throwing Calvin Ridley the ball a lot more than I like who's throwing T. Higgins the ball. But has Calvin Ridley learned how to catch a football? That's my big concern. And I don't have an answer for that. That kickoff, bruh. Yeah, that was a rough one last night. I'm obviously okay. Start 2, Henderson, Bill, Swift. Oh, start Bill. I love Bill. I hope you're talking about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, of course, but I love me some Bill. Thoughts on BTJ? I hope he figures it out. I hope it's yips. I hope it's mental right now. But they need to figure out something there. I don't think it's going to be I don't think he's long. I would stay away from him this season. I mean, I think his usage goes down, obviously, but he's had a good couple seasons. Is he still out for a few more weeks? Worthy's back. That's right. Thank you, Dami. Demi. BTJ or Tyreek Hill? Shit. Tyreek Hill actually looks solid. I'm not going to lie. I don't think this Jets defense is up to snuff. I would probably roll with the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill in that spot. BTJ just so inconsistent. Oh, Bill and who else? Swift, Smith, or Henderson? Smith. I would stay away from Swift. Oh, yeah, with Rice, probably. Well, yeah, he's the only... Yeah, the Chiefs are a mess, man. The Chiefs are such a mess. Franklin or Anamar? I'd probably go in Anamar. I like what I've been seeing on tape with him. Bruce, what's good, brother? That's all Steven's been doing is fumbling, though. And I hope it stops, but who knows, man. Neon Genesis 84. Thank you for the follow, brother. Sutton Myers this week. I'm probably going Myers. Dowdle, if Chuba out, ooh, yeah, I would. Man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 2. Thank you for the follow. Johnson, Sutton, BTJ, or McMillan. Start 3. Start Johnston. Start McMillan. I would start BTJ. I hate it. I don't like it, but I would start BTJ. I don't like it. I would start him, though. Trade Keenan Allen for Genty. Nah, I would keep rolling with Keenan Allen right now. Ferguson or Kraft? Yeah, Ferguson to get a lot more targets. That's not question. Him and Pickens are going to be splitting that load that CD's been carrying, or at least try to. Yeah, Kraft has got a little injury and everything, but I think he's going to still play this week, and I think it's from what I've been seeing, he's going to play this week. And I'm starting Kraft in my fantasy. you want to know how I'm feeling about Kraft. I have no problem starting Tucker Kraft this week. So I trade Bijan for Adunze in London. Absolutely not, Kyle. Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of any three of those, but I like what Bijan's been doing a lot more than Adunze in London. Michael Ops, thank you for the follow, brother. What else are we looking at? Should I start Zay or Addison? Ooh. I'd probably start Zay. Quentin Johnson or Warren at the flex. Ooh. Listen, I think Tyler Warren's been good. He had a rough week last week, but I think he's still going to be a huge part of the game plan. Miles Coop, thank you for the follow, brother. I would have no problem starting Tyler Warren there. Who's the other option? The chat's going too fast. Quentin Johnston, though. Listen, that Chargers team, they've been loving Quentin Johnston, and when Quentin Johnston can start catching footballs, it's absolutely incredible. I don't think Justin Herbert's going to have a problem with this Giants defense. I do think the Giants defense is better than people give him credit for. I'd probably go with Quentin Johnston just because that Rams defense is solid, and so I think Tyler Warren and the Chargers are going to have some issues with it. Oh, Jalen Warren. No, Quentin Johnson then, absolutely. Just traded Jalen Warren and Pittman Jr. for Josh Jacobs and Waddle. I like it. I mean, I think Pittman's a better receiver than Waddle, but I don't hate it. I really don't. Jay, thank you for the follow. Got offered Kamara in London for Mason and Pickens. Do it? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Brandon, thank you for the follow, brother. Start Golden or A.J. Brown? I would start Golden. Again. I think this Eagles team is going to have a lot more troubles with the Buccaneers than a lot of people are expecting. And so, yeah, I would do that. Horacio, thank you for the follow. Horatio? I don't know. But thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Trade Henry and Anamar for Pickens and Jacobs. Ooh. No. No, because CeeDee Lamb will come back eventually. I think Anamar is going to continue to be getting the reps that he's getting right now. And depending on the Henry, if it's Derrick Henry you're talking about, I think Derrick Henry is going to fix the whole fumbling issue sooner rather than later. I have Neighbors, Devontae Smith, and Zay. Should I replace any with Jordan Addison or D-Hop? Ooh. I would maybe be looking at Addison or D-Hop in replace of Neighbors. I think this is going to be a rough week. I do. I think he's going to get a lot of looks from Jackson Dart, but it's his first game. And I know he's gotten a couple of snaps where he's run the football and stuff, but he hasn't done much, so I would probably sit Neighbors this week, personally. Which two running backs should I start? Kamara, Warren, or Scadaboo? I would start Scadaboo and Warren. I think the Saints are going to have a rough week against the Bills. I think they're going to have a real rough week. Would I do Kamara and Sutton for Jacobs? Yeah. I would see if I can get something else instead of Sutton. But I like the Jacobs part of it a lot. Ramondre or Worthy? I'd probably start Xavier Worthy. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to be looking to throw to someone who looks like a wide receiver and can catch like a wide receiver, and I think Worthy is going to be that guy this weekend. Ladin Etienne or for BTJ? Troy Franklin and Khalil Shakir. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Thoughts on Jamar Chase? Pelacasio, thank you for the follow. Here's my thoughts on Jamar Chase. If the Browns actually get off their lazy ass, make a phone call to the Giants and get Jameis Winston, keep Jamar Chase and let Jameis and him just have a lot of fun and go for 5,000 yards each this season. And it's going to cost them a 4th round pick probably at this point in the season. 4th, or maybe they can get by with a 5th and then a 6th, conditional 6th the year after or something. But it all depends on what the Browns want to do. And the Browns historically have continued to make the wrong decisions. And that's kind of where we're at now. Imagine if they invested a little bit into an offensive line, where we would be instead. Just imagine. But no, I mean, he's good trade bait. If you want to get out of the Jamar Chase business right now, I would not be upset with you, or I would completely understand. I'm out of the game. I didn't even draft him or look at drafting him this year because that O-line is so questionable. I'm always worried about Joe Burrow getting injured. And what happened? Well, we know what happened. All right, one more. Hey, man, in my flex, should I have Jay Williams, Myers, or Quentin Johnston? I would probably go with Johnston. I just like how the Chargers match up against that Giants defense and how they're throwing the ball a lot more, and I think they will still do that. Jacoby Myers is solid, and Williams, I think, is going to have a good game too, but the Lions are going to have a lot more difficulties against that Browns team, I think, than people are expecting. I'd go with Quentin Johnston. But that is all the time I got today, guys. Hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone watching here on Rumble, YouTube, X, and TikTok. Y'all are the best. I will be live again Sunday morning doing another Final Fantasy Football sit start so we can get those lineups set. So hit that follow button, hit the like button so you can stay up to date with when I go live. But hey, thank you all again for listening. Thank you all again for watching. Have an incredible rest of your Friday. Enjoy the football tonight, the football this weekend, and of course, the Ryder Cup. But with all that being said, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I'm the Brofect One, AJ. Good luck. God bless. I'll see you all next time on Degenerate Takes. Hey, have a good one, Paulie, excuse me. Appreciate you.